Everyone's mourning the wrong thing. For 2 years now, the story has been the same. The entry-level job is dead. AI killed it. The door that used to open for 22-year-olds has been welded shut. And you felt it. The silence after the applications. The roles that want 3 years of experience for a job that used to be where you got your first year. But the job posting still exists. Go look. Companies are still hiring people at the bottom. That's not the part that changed. Here's what actually changed. The thing that job used to be the bottom of, the ladder, the escalator, the quiet promise that if you got in and did the work would carry you up. That's the thing that broke. And almost nobody is talking about it plainly, because it's easier to say the job market is bad than to say the mechanism that turned effort into advancement stopped turning. You were sold a sequence. Get the degree, take the internship, land the entry role, do it well for 2 years, get moved up. Each rung existed to lift you to the next one. That was the entire logic of a career. Not one job, but a staircase you stepped onto at the bottom. The staircase is what's missing. The first step is still there. It just doesn't connect to anything anymore. Look at what happened at the top of the market, where the pattern shows up first and cleanest. At the biggest tech companies, new graduates used to make up around 15% of hires before the pandemic. Now they're about 7%, cut by more than half. And this isn't a rough year that bounces back. The share has been sliding in one direction, and the average age of a technical hire has climbed by roughly 3 years since 2021. Read that slowly. Companies are no longer hiring the 22-year-old and betting on who they'll become. They're hiring the person who's already become it. You feel the injustice of that before you can name it. You did the thing. You did every single thing they told you to do. And the reward for doing it right shrank while you were doing it. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. For most of modern history, the college degree was insurance. Graduates had lower unemployment than the general workforce. That was the deal. You take on the cost and the years, and in exchange your floor is higher than everyone else's. As of early 2026, that flipped. Recent graduates, ages 22 to 27, are sitting around 5.5% to 6% unemployment. The overall workforce is around 4%. The people who were promised the higher floor are now standing on a lower one, and it gets quieter and worse. More than 4 in 10 recent grads are underemployed, working jobs that don't require the degree they went into debt for. Not unemployed, employed in a role that doesn't need the thing they spent 4 years buying. That's the barista with a finance degree cliché, except it's not a cliché anymore. It's the base rate. So the reflex is to blame yourself. Wrong major, wrong school. Should have networked harder, built more projects, learned to code, or learned to code better. And some of that might even be true at the margins. But watch what happens when you zoom out, because the individual explanation falls apart fast. This isn't happening to one unlucky person. It's happening to a whole tier at once. When an entire layer of the workforce gets pulled out from under at the same time, you're not looking at a personal failure. You're looking at a structural one. Here's the mechanism, and it's the whole video, so sit with it. The tasks that used to make up an entry-level job, pulling the data, drafting the first version of the deck, summarizing the research, cleaning the spreadsheet, writing the boilerplate. Those weren't just the work. They were the training. That's how you learned the shape of the business. You did the boring, structured, repeatable stuff, and in doing it 1,000 times, you absorbed how the whole thing fit together. The grunt work was secretly an apprenticeship, and those exact tasks, the structured, repeatable, first draft ones, are the tasks generative AI does first and does cheapest. Not the judgment, not the client relationship, not the call on what to do when the data disagrees with the plan. The bottom rung, the apprenticeship rung, that's the one the machine reached first. So the company doesn't announce it's eliminating your career path. It doesn't have to. It just notices the first draft work gets done without a junior person and quietly stops opening the junior rec. The ladder doesn't get demolished. It gets left unbuilt, one unposted role at a time, and nobody has to make a villainous decision for the outcome to arrive. That's the reframe that changes how you move. You are not competing for a worse version of the job your older cousin got. You're standing at the base of a staircase whose bottom steps were made of exactly the material that got automated first. Understanding that, really understanding it, is the difference between spending 3 years confused and angry and spending 3 years positioning for the rung that's actually still there. Because there is one. That's the part nobody gets to on the way to the outrage. We'll get to it. Now, before we go further, let's be honest about the other side, because there's a version of just be excellent and you'll get in that isn't cope, and pretending otherwise would insult you. It still happens. You know someone it happened to. The friend who landed the offer anyway. The kid 2 years below you who walked into a role while everyone said the market was dead. Hiring for the class of 2026 is actually projected to tick up modestly, a few percent, after a couple of brutal years. Some of the strongest graduates are getting in the front door exactly the way the old story said they would. That's real. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. And here's the strongest version of the case. The top of the distribution has always been fine. The genuinely exceptional 22-year-old, the one who built the thing, shipped the project, has the internship that mattered. That person gets pulled through almost regardless of the market. The staircase never fully disappears for them. Hold both of those as true. Then watch what the numbers do to them. Because the exception isn't the disproof of the pattern. The exception is what makes the pattern survivable to the people running it. If it never worked for anyone, no one would keep trying, and the whole supply of hopeful applicants would dry up. It works often enough, for the top sliver, in the good years, that you keep believing the rung is standard issue. The system doesn't need the ladder to work for most people. It only needs enough visible winners that you assume you're one bad resume tweak away from joining them. Look at where the exceptions cluster and the illusion cracks. The graduates still getting pulled through overwhelmingly have the thing that isn't a credential, demonstrated work, an internship that produced something, a project someone can click on. In tech, only about 1 in 5 job postings is even asking for 0 to 3 years of experience anymore. The front door didn't close for everyone. It narrowed to the people who arrived already carrying proof, and it locked out the much larger group whose only asset was a degree and a willingness to learn on the job. The willingness to learn on the job was the whole point of the entry-level job. That's the part that got automated. So, be excellent and you'll get in quietly became arrive already proven or don't arrive, which is a very different deal than the one you were sold at 18. Here's the machinery underneath, because this is where it stops being vibes and starts being a mechanism you can actually spot. There's a study out of Stanford, economists tracking real payroll data across millions of workers, and it found something specific. Since generative AI went mainstream, workers aged 22 to 25 in the most AI-exposed jobs saw their employment fall by around 13% relative to everyone else. Same occupations, older workers, stable, growing even. It's not that software developers are doomed, it's that young software developers, doing the entry-level slice of that work, are the ones absorbing the hit. Sit with why that split exists, because it's the most important sentence in this whole thing. One of the researchers put it plainly: what younger workers know overlaps with what the model can already do. The senior person's value was never mostly in the tasks. It was in the judgment wrapped around the tasks, knowing which analysis to run, catching the answer that's technically correct and strategically stupid, reading the room in the client meeting. The junior person's value, honestly, was mostly in the tasks, and the tasks are the cheap part now. But here, this is where you get to stop being a victim of the story and start using it. That same Stanford data found the decline wasn't evenly spread. It was concentrated in jobs where AI automates the work. In the jobs where AI augments the worker, where it makes a human more capable instead of replacing what they did, employment held. In some cases, it grew. That is not a footnote. That is the entire lever, and it's yours. There are 2 kinds of roles being built right now, and they look almost identical from the outside. In one, you are the thing producing the first draft, and the machine is learning to produce it faster than you. In the other, you are the thing directing the machine, checking its work, owning the judgment about whether the output is any good. Same industry, same title, sometimes. Completely different trajectory. One of them is a rung that's dissolving. The other is a rung that's rising in value. You don't get to choose whether AI eats the routine layer. That's decided, and it's above your pay grade and mine. What you get to choose is which side of the tool you're standing on when it does. And most people entering the workforce right now are choosing by default, walking into the automate me version, because it's the one that's familiar, the one that looks like the job their cousin had, and quietly getting eroded. The reframe you need isn't learn AI. Everyone says that and it means nothing. The reframe is sharper. Stop applying to be the task. Start positioning to be the person the task now reports to. That shift is available to you at 22, even with no experience, and we're about to get concrete about how, because the people who figure this out early aren't waiting for a rung to be handed down. They're building the one they stand on. Let's go one level deeper, because there's a second thing the ladder was quietly doing, and it's the thing that makes this different from every kids these days can't find work panic that came before. The entry-level job had two functions, not one. The obvious one, get the routine work done cheaply. But the hidden one, the one that actually mattered, was manufacturing. It manufactured senior people. Every associate who became a partner, every analyst who became a director, every junior engineer who became the person the team trusts. They were built on the floor of that ladder, one boring task at a time. The grunt work wasn't a hazing ritual. It was the assembly line for expertise. So when a company automates the routine layer to save money, it thinks it's cutting a cost. What it's actually doing is switching off the machine that makes its own future leadership. Nobody in the budget meeting frames it that way. The reorg that moves 3 juniors worth of work onto one AI license and one stretched mid-level manager looks like efficiency this quarter. The bill comes due in about a decade, when the pipeline that should have produced the next generation of senior people is just empty. There's a name for this now that even the firms doing the cutting have started using quietly in their own reports. A succession vacuum, a leadership vacuum. They can see it coming. They're doing it anyway, because the savings are now and the vacuum is later, and quarters are short. That's the injustice at the root of this, and it's worth naming clearly. An entire industry is optimizing its own long-term collapse, and the people paying the price first are the 22-year-olds who never got to step onto the assembly line at all. You're not imagining the unfairness. It's structural, it's visible in the data, and the people running it mostly know. But here's why that matters to you strategically, and not just emotionally. Compare it to the one field that never let this happen. Medicine. A doctor in residency isn't hired to do the routine work while they learn the real thing later. From day one, the resident examines the patient, proposes the plan, makes real decisions, under supervision, with a senior physician coaching them through the reasoning. The learning and the real work are the same activity. You can't automate the resident's training away by automating a task, because the training was never a separate box of tasks. It was judgment, practiced live, from the beginning. That's the model that survives, and that tells you exactly what the surviving entry-level role now looks like, because the market is already reshaping around it. Watch what's happening to the roles that didn't disappear. There's data on this now. The entry-level jobs that are actually growing are the ones that have been, for lack of a better word, seniorized. Junior roles in the most AI-exposed fields are now several times more likely to demand traditionally senior skills, judgment, leadership, strategic thinking, than they were a few years ago. The seniorized entry role, the one that asks a 23-year-old to do what a 28-year-old used to do, is one of the few early career categories expanding while everything around it flatlines. Read what that's telling you. The first rung didn't just get removed, it got raised. The market deleted the version of entry level that was do the routine tasks well, and kept the version that's exercise judgment early, direct the tools, own the outcome. The bar went up, which is brutal if you're waiting for the old low rung to reappear. And it's an opening if you're willing to reach for the higher one now, before your peers realize the low one is never coming back. So what do you actually do? Not the slogan, the move. The first move is the mindset shift we already named, made concrete. Stop presenting yourself as someone who will reliably execute tasks. That's the pitch that now competes directly with a tool that costs $20 a month and never sleeps. You will lose that competition. Start presenting yourself as someone who produces outcomes and exercises judgment, who can take an ambiguous problem, point the tools at it, catch where they're wrong, and own the result. That's the resident, not the task doer. And you can position as the resident on day one, because it's a stance, not a seniority level. Concretely, that means the thing that gets you in is no longer the resume, it's the proof. The graduates still getting pulled through the narrow door almost all have the same asset, and it isn't a GPA, it's demonstrated work. Something they built, shipped, analyzed, or ran that a hiring manager can look at and think, this person already operates at the level I need, they won't cost me a year of training I can no longer afford to give. In a market where companies have stopped paying for the ramp-up, the person who arrives already ramped wins. So you build the proof before anyone hires you to. A project, a real analysis of a real problem, a thing with your judgment visibly stamped on it. You manufacture for yourself the apprenticeship the company stopped providing. That's a heavier lift than the old deal. It's also entirely within your control, which the old deal, waiting to be selected and then trained, never fully was. And there's a more aggressive version of this move that the strongest people entering the workforce are already running. That's where we finish. Here's the most aggressive move, and it's not for everyone, but you should understand it even if you don't take it. When the top of the funnel gets sealed, the people who would have filled it don't vanish. The strongest of them route around it. This is showing up in the data plainly. A growing share of top graduates aren't applying at all. They're building, starting the thing, turning the projects that used to be a portfolio into the actual work. And the reports coming out of the investment world have noticed something almost funny about it. By cutting entry-level hiring to save money, the big firms may be incubating their own future competitors outside their walls. The talent that got locked out of the building is going and starting a rival building. You don't have to found a company, most people shouldn't. But the underlying logic applies to you at every level, and it's this. The ladder was one path up, and it's the crowded, narrowing one. It was never the only path. When the standard route seals, leverage moves to whoever stops waiting in the line and starts demonstrating value directly. Freelance, contract, build, ship, get known for a specific thing. The gate-kept door isn't the only door, it's just the one you were taught to stand at. And here's the part that ties it all together, because it's easy to hear all this as, the world got harder, good luck. That's not the takeaway. Watch what these moves have in common: building proof before you're hired, positioning as the judgment, not the task, routing around a sealed funnel instead of waiting at it. Every one of them is a thing you do, not a thing done to you. The old ladder ran on being selected. You performed, and you waited for someone above you to reach down. The new game runs on being undeniable before anyone reaches. That's harder. It's also more yours than the old deal ever was. Nobody can decline to promote a person who already operates a rung above where they were hired. So let's go back to where we started and say the true thing plainly. The entry-level job didn't die. Go look. The postings are right there. What died is the quiet promise underneath them, that getting in was enough, that the work would carry you, that the bottom rung connected automatically to the next one. That promise ran on cheap routine tasks being the way you learned the business, and the machine took the cheap routine tasks first. The staircase didn't collapse in a dramatic event. Its bottom steps were made of exactly the material that got automated, and they dissolved while everyone was still calling it a bad job market. A broken ladder is not a wall. That distinction is the whole thing. A wall means stop. A broken ladder means the easy way up is gone, and the people who get up now are the ones who stopped waiting for a rung to be handed down and built their own. The bar got raised to judgment, to proof, to owning the outcome early, and that bar, unlike the old one, doesn't require anyone's permission to start clearing. The people who spend the next 3 years angry that the staircase is gone will be right. It is gone. And being right won't move them an inch. The people who understand what actually broke and reach for the higher rung that's still there, the one made of judgment instead of tasks, climb anyway. Be the second kind.